I was on half day at work, so I had to go to work. Woke up, got my West Ham shirt in my car, buzzing, couldn't wait to just clock out of work. Got changed, went straight down to the Boleyn pub.
Well, I went to work, and I was meant to finish half day, but I was about an hour running behind. So by the time I got down to to Canning Town, where I normally park up, and I walked down, it was probably about 2 o'clock-ish by the time I was walking down to the Boleyn. Now, I've never been in the Boleyn before. I've got a bit of a fear of crowds, and I'm a little bit claustrophobic. So, bowling on a match day, I'm never there that early. I'm never there like 6 hours before kick-off. So, I walked up to the Boleyn, and I thought to myself that day, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to do something that I've never done before, and I'm going to go in there on a match day, I'm going to be brave, and I'm going to have a pint.
Even early on, I mean, I got there about 11:45, and you could see it was packed already, the excitement of the day. Everyone was excited, the programme sellers were out early, everyone getting their copies of the programmes, and the pubs were buzzing.
I walked down there, and I walked in, and luckily, there was probably by that time, about 50 people in there. A little bit crowd in the billiard room, but you know, you could get a pint, you could stand there comfortably, and I was just standing there drinking. I saw Ryan, I saw a couple of other people as well, sort of faces from bloggers, blogging sites and YouTube channels. I think Baz Cox was there, Dom was there, who's on our channel quite a lot, just singing all the time, singing, there's beer being thrown everywhere, the songs, it was loud in there that day.
I looked everywhere, I'm forever blowing bubbles, bringing bubbles in the air, United!
Me and Nicky had to leave the Boleyn for a little while. We had to do a quick interview for Copper 90, which was good experience. But even then, we filmed it opposite the Boleyn pub, and it was just packed everywhere. You could see it was really building up.
Now, Copper 90 is a massive YouTube channel. They got in contact with us the week before, wanted to speak about the last game at the Boleyn. But by the time we was getting outside the pub, the streets were starting to fill up. They was really starting to fill up. There was people just spilling outside the pub, people just starting to gather, standing there talking to friends and whatever. So we went over and done this interview, and then we tried to get back in the pub. And it was so heaving that we just couldn't, and I didn't feel comfortable going back in there after that anyway.
The streets were packed. All the pubs down the roads were packed. The off licence was packed. The Bobby Moore statue, there was a lot of people hanging around now. And this was, like I said, this was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We ended up going down the East Ham Working Man's Club, which was quite good to be in there on a match day as well. Loads of people in there. Same, it was top and bottom was banged out.
Probably about 5 o'clock by this time, 4, 5 o'clock. We had a pint in there, had a little chat with some people we knew. I remember talking to a few people. Then I wanted to go back up to the statue. That's where I thought the real atmosphere was going to be. And I was right, because when we got back out on the street, they was heaving by then.
The vibe was, even from early in the morning, the later it got on in the day, the vibe, everyone was buzzing, it was a party atmosphere. It was like, it felt like a cup final. It actually felt like a cup final. Everyone was out, flags, scarves. Oh, it was mental. Yeah, when we left, the streets were packed. The Barking Road, buses could hardly get through, cars. I just remember seeing so many people outside the Boleyn pub, standing in the middle of the road, even on the Bobby Moore statue, people climbing and sitting on Bobby's shoulders, like wrapping scarves around him.
So we got down to the Bobby Moore statue, and the streets were heaving. It was absolutely heaving with people by then. As we got to the statue, I went into the offie, got myself a little bottle of vodka, and we just stood by the statue, and we was just soaking in the atmosphere. It was electric that day. It was like
we won a cup. It was like we was waiting for the team to parade the cup, like we did in the playoff finals all them years ago. and like the scenes from like the 80s and the 75 cup final, just scenes like that. It actually felt like a cup final day, and they was going to parade the trophy. There were so many people out on the street.
Real party vibe. I couldn't have wished for anything better, I don't think.
Yeah, then we're all sitting there, everyone's singing, having a laugh, and then the West Ham team turned up, and it was like heroes welcome. You know, the players must have got. Well, we was getting goosebumps seeing the players. So for them to see the scenes on that trip down the Barking Road turning into Green Street, like for them, must have been mental.
We carried on drinking for another sort of 15 minutes. And after about 15, 20, 25 minutes after the West Ham coach had got in, there rolls up Man United, you know, typical arrogant Man United, really. I still, for the life of me, can't think why they left it that late.
It was emotional walking down Green Street, turning into the. So I sit in the Sir Trevor Brooke in Upper, so I had to go through the John Lyall gates, and walking through them for the last time at a home game was emotional.
Well, we caught wind that the kick-off was delayed. It was a rumour buzzing about, and then all of a sudden it got confirmed that it was delayed by, I think it was an hour or 45 minutes, something like that. And I was quite happy. I didn't want to go in. This is it. Once I start my descendancy towards that stadium, I'm not going to go back there again. That's the last time I'm going to be walking down that street. That's the last time I'm going to be walking through them gates. That's the last time I'm going to be walking up to the turnstiles.
Then you walk round towards the Brooklyn turnstiles, walk past the club shop, and yeah, going through that turnstiles, because I always seem to go through the same turnstile every home game, and walking through there for the last time was a bit emotional. Walking up the stairs into the concourse, and then finally making your way to the seat.
So we queued a little bit to get in, I think, if I remember correctly. And it was a surreal feeling, because as I'm approaching it, you know, and you don't get long, it wasn't a massive queue like there are at London Stadium. I'm starting to think to myself, this is it. This is the last time I'm going to put a ticket in this turnstile. This is the last time I'm going to hear the clink of this turnstile. And I know it sounds a bit dramatic, and I know it sounds a bit soppy, but that's what it felt like. It felt like this is saying goodbye to an old friend. That is my special place, the Boleyn, and it has been for many years. It's somewhere where I've laughed, cried, cheered, booed, and I feel like I've left all my emotion there through the years, like from when I was, you know, a little kid, all the way up to, you know, to last year, and it's surreal, really. It's just the feeling that you just think, this is it. That all my emotions are going to stay here now. This is the last time I'm going to get to contribute to the atmosphere here, and this is the last time I'm going to see it.
Yeah, as we walked in, everyone had T-shirts and a little wristband, light-up wristband on their seats, which was good. Seeing a few old faces that you're obviously not going to see again for a long time, because you're not going to be sitting next to them at the new stadium. Yeah, it was emotional.
The only thing in my mind is West Ham's got to win this game. There's no way we can lose this game. But you're playing Man United, and it was surreal, really. It was. I felt a bit numb, and I felt really nervous, and it was like it wasn't happening. It was like it was a dream, and then all of a sudden, you could feel the excitement, and all of a sudden the time come, the players are coming to the tunnel. They play this music when they're sort of lining up in the tunnel, and then all of a sudden it hit, bubbles hit.
Everyone was on their feet, and the noise of bubbles is the loudest I've probably ever heard it over there. It goes back to probably when we played Ipswich in the semi-final of the playoffs.
honestly, I think it's the first time I've ever known any football club, not just us, but any football club, to drown out the tannoy. The tannoy is turned up to the maximum in them places. Like, you know, they really. But that night, I didn't hear the tannoy. I heard the crowd, and that was electric. It was electric. It was a deafening wall of sound that I'll probably never hear again, unfortunately.
Something special about that last ever bubbles, and then the teams walked out. Noble led the teams out, and yeah, it was emotional because it's the last time you're ever going to see a West Ham team led out at the Boleyn ground. When the game finally kicked off, I mean, to see like just before Noble lined up with the mascots, you know, putting the ball in the centre spot, he'd give it a little kiss just before because it meant a lot to him. It was his last ever time as captain doing that, and yeah, the game kicked off. Everyone was still on their feet, still singing.
I was nervous, but we took control of the game quite early on. We had a chance. I think it was it ruled offside or was that the second one? That was the second one. We had a chance and it went awry. I think it was a shot wide, and then all of a sudden, from seemingly nowhere, Sacco picked up the ball, sort of middle of the penalty area, swiveled, and he hit it with not a lot of pace, but he took a little deflection and it just went past De Gea, and I was ecstatic.
The Afro Sacco puts us 1-0 up. I mean, a game like this, best thing you want to happen is an early goal. And what I remember about the goal is like he shot and I thought, oh, it's great, but I didn't realise until I see the replay that it took a deflection. But on that night, you don't care how they go in, you just want to win. And yeah, he put us 1-0 up and the crowd went mental.
The time after the first goal, it seemed to go quickly, and I wanted it. That was probably the only time at football when we was winning that I wanted the time to go slower, because I wanted to take it more in. The atmosphere was still electric.
We go in 1-0 up at half time, come out second half, controlled the game first half, should have been 2 up. I think Antonio had a chance, Andy Carroll had a chance. And then, yeah, Man United equalised. Martial tucks it away. And then they sort of controlled the game for a bit.
I'll be honest with you, I thought to myself, at the time, oh well, 1-1 won't be bad. Honestly, I thought 1-1 won't be that bad. It won't be like the worst case scenario if we nab a draw.
Yeah, there was a lot of nerves. You don't want to lose this game. If you're not going to win it, then you're going to want to at least take a draw. But everyone wanted to win it. And Martial, you know, I remember him. It was a lucky goal, really. I mean, Randolph at his front post, he took it round Reed too easy. And he puts Man United 2-1 up, and then everyone's nervous. You know, it's one of them. We're not going to win it. It's not going to be our night.
We start to get back on top. We start to keep the ball a bit better. We stop giving the ball away sloppily. We start to cut out their threats. I wasn't taking that much notice of the game. I was looking more at the clock to see how much time we had left, and it was coming up to 75 minutes. And you know, last 10 minutes, you know, you're going to be desperate, and that's when you can concede. And then all of a sudden, from seemingly nowhere, the ball swings into the box, and Antonio.
If there's one man you want winning a header in that box, apart from Carroll, is Antonio. I mean, at that point, You take that, you take a 2-2 draw against United, but there was still time in the game to get that winner. And we had the players on the pitch, Payet, Antonio, Lanzini, Carroll, any one of them could nick a winner.
Yeah, so we get a free kick on the left, and so he steps up, he puts this ball in the perfect place.
Winston Reid puts it in, runs off, celebrates. The players, every player run over to him. The crowd once again was going mental.
I looked around and I didn't want to look at the players really. I wanted to look at the place, at the crowd, and I was looking all around just to see how ecstatic everyone was, and just to see the old place rocking one last time. It was surreal.
Going 3-2 up, it felt like the time wasn't moving. Man United had a lot of the ball in that final 10 minutes, but we held on, and I just remember that final whistle going. And like just seeing grown men around me just burst into tears. It was weird, but it was relief as well that we've won.
I was washed over with relief really. I was ecstatic. I thought to myself, I've witnessed something special here. The last game, you couldn't have written a movie script like that. If you wrote one like that, it would have been unbelievable. But I thought to myself, I've witnessed something special here. But I was relieved because I was so worried. It would have been typical West Ham if we'd have gone there and lost about 5-0. But not that night. It was just everyone seemed to jump that extra half-inch higher. Everyone was an extra half a mile, faster. Everyone was. I don't think, as I said before, I don't think there was great footballing performances, but everybody dug in. I just wanted to take it all in, and when the final whistle went, I know we had the ceremony coming up, but I thought that's it. That's the last football I'm going to see kicked, and it started to become a little bit sad.
Yeah, then we had the ceremony after, which it was because of the delay of the kick-off. A few people had to miss it because they had to get trains home and that. But no, it was nice. It was nice to see old players come out, legends, Di Canio, Brooking. Tony Cottee. It was nice. It was nice to see a lot of the old ex-players there.
I'll be honest. I thought the ceremony was very cheesy. I didn't like it really at all. I understand that it was a little bit rushed. I didn't think they'd done a great job with that. But there was some good bits. The Cockney Rejects.
Yeah, I mean, me and Nicky stood there after, and then Nicky said, "Oh, we've got to go out and obviously do fan cams." I mean, he didn't want to leave, I didn't want to leave, and Nicky left, and I just sat in my seat. I sat in my seat for about 15, 20 minutes after, and there was a few other people doing it as well, and it was just taking it all in that this was the last time on a match day that I'm going to be sitting in my seat.
So I got up and I left. We stood there for a little while, and I said, "I've got to go down. I've got to start doing the fan cams and things." And I left Ryan in there, and Ryan was very emotional. Drunk a little bit, but emotional.
Yeah, I had a tear in my eye. There was a few times over that season. I remember the Arsenal game, the 3-3 game, when we come back and we went 3-2 up, and just the noise and the way we come back and all that, and that got me emotional as well. But that night, I'm not ashamed to admit, I'm not the only one that had tears in their eyes that night.
Then I get out, and I get to the John Lyall gates, and I stand where I'd stood for a season and a bit outside, and I start talking to the fans, and it started to hit me a little bit by the end.
Nick Hawkins and Ryan Archer outside the Boleyn, West Ham fan TV. Look, I thought we'd do a special little video tonight because we're not doing a post-match pint. We're going to go and join in the celebrations, although they've shut all the pubs.
We're fine somewhere, mate.
Listen, what a game.
Mate, honestly, I can't sum it up. Do you know what? I'm not even worried about the game. For me, afterwards was to see the legends come out, and I mean, obviously Bobby Moore at the end, and I couldn't leave. You went, and I just sat there, and the stewards had shut me out. Like, I couldn't leave. It was just like, this is the last time I'm going to sit in my seat when. Like, you
I mean, to sum it all up,
season tickets tonight, but where me and my daughter sat.
as a day, I mean, it's one that I'll never ever forget. I'm proud to be part of it. It was it'll go down in our history. Like I said, there weren't many people. There was only lucky people that could be there that night, and we was one of them.
The London Stadium doesn't compare to the Boleyn. To be honest with you, personally, I've had such a bad time there. Going there on a match day, it's horrible. It's ridiculous. Like, I had a real bad time. Like, the first couple of times when I got there, I was walking around for hours trying to get home. You know, I was like, I couldn't find my way to the station, and when I did find my way to the station, it wasn't the best station to go to, and it took me an hour to get in there. And you know, it's got better as the time's gone on. But you know, I knew that walk up the Barking Road. I knew Green Street. I knew, you know, the turnstiles and the streets and the little back alleys and all that you duck down there, and you know, you could walk from the pub into the ground in 2 minutes. And this one, you walk out of a pub and you've got an half an hour walk.
When we first moved to the London Stadium, it was difficult. It was weird because everything's different. Your journey to the ground, your pubs, people you sit near, the atmosphere, getting used to the ground. But as the season's gone on, you start to get used to it. It will never be anything like the Boleyn Ground. The Boleyn Ground was special. It's winning me round. I'm getting used to it now. We can't go back. I mean, I drive over the A13, Beckton flyover every morning going to work, and I get to see the Boleyn Ground. And every day there's a bit going all the time, being knocked down. So it's never coming back. So we have to face it. The London Stadium is our home now, and we can make it like the Boleyn Ground.
I think it's quite sad, really, and it's soulless. And Upton Park it was special because it was surrounded with community, and that's one thing I do miss about the London Stadium. It's not a community. It's commercialised. It's, you know, these food stalls, these chains, these people that have paid lots of money to be pitched there and that. And at the London Stadium, it was, you know, local people, local firms, cabs, shops, burger stalls that pay £10 for a pitch, and you know, real down to earth working people. And when you see them now, you walk in there, it's just sanitised. You know, got Domino's pizza there. You know.
Are they driving back to Man U tonight?
Yeah, at least 7-5.
you could sum up the Boleyn ground in one word, what would it be?
Special.
Home.